Welcome to Taking Action. I'm Chris Colombo. This is Anthony Conover, who's becoming one of the best young handicappers in the business. Okay, moving forward, this is week 6 coming up. We're going to recap week 5. We're going to give you our picks for week 6. Our main pick stood up, and I tell you, all the other picks were pretty good.
Had a pretty good week.
Yeah, I think they came out to 7-2-1.
Yes, I believe so on the math.
Yeah, I gave more picks than usual, but 7-2-1. That's why it was so difficult to have a main pick. Okay, we'll be back in a second. Okay, welcome back to Taking Action. I tell you, it was an exciting week in football, week 6.
A lot of high-scoring games.
It had to happen sooner or later.
This is true.
This is true. Let me see, but what was most important is I thought the officiating was right on target.
Yeah, I don't have many complaints about it. Usually they're around the Twitterverse and everything else. There's a lot of officiating complaints. Not this week.
Well, I pay attention to the legitimate complaints and the ones I see. I seen pretty good officiating. There were no questionable calls, in my opinion. Okay, let's start off with
week 5.
Week 5.
Yeah, that would be Thursday Night Football, where the Falcons beat the Buccaneers 36-30 in a nice, thrilling overtime game.
That's one you liked. I think I passed on, right?
Yeah, I would have picked the Falcons in that one, but we passed on it. But hey, stood up.
Next game.
That would be good old London Town, where the Vikings beat the Jets 23-17.
That's my pal Tanner. He likes the unders. He's been doing it for 2 or 3 seasons, I guess.
Yeah, no, those overseas games tend to fall that way.
He snuck it in by 0.5 point. I like the process. I like that it's standing up. I just can't figure out why it does. So it's hard for me to tout, it doesn't matter if the under or over is 36 or 46, it stands up.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe it's that 6, I think it's about a 6-hour time difference, flying all the time.
It takes that long for the ball to get in the end zone?
Hey, listen, East Coast team, technically they're playing at 9:30 East Coast time.
Yeah, but why would people can't score at 9:30?
In the morning, I still got crust in my eyes. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
I'm up at 5:30, but I'm still on jail time. But let's go forward. Okay.
Big sleep guy.
All right. That game opened up Jets 2.5 and went to the Vikings 2.5. Okay. Part of the reason, too, when you think that all the money's on that particular team, I don't know if you noticed it or not, that they are putting lines out like we can bet it's week 6 that hasn't even come to fruition or been played. We can bet week 7.
We certainly can. Week 7 lines are out and ready.
And I don't know how they could put out a total and a line without the injuries. And not that the injury reports have been very accurate up until an hour before game. That's why we've been waiting. Number 1. Number 2, how do you put a total if you don't know what they scored this week?
Yeah, it's a bold strategy. I don't know how it's possible, but the sports books are certainly doing it. Like I said, you can go on right now and bet week 7 all you want, even though week 6 hasn't even kicked off.
The purpose of that is if I like a team, like if you like the Vikings, you could have bet them a week before the game went off, taking 2.5. That's a 5-point differential. Okay. A lot of it, I thought that all the money was on the Vikings.
Yeah, a lot of the money was on the Vikings.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's enough to move it 5 points. So that was just a bad line. So moving forward, one of the things I'd like to do with the Juice Reel, once I get everybody on board with their notifications turned on and understand the validity of this, is the way I figure a line. And I don't know how they do it without those in. I just think artificial intelligence projects the way they think the line's going to come out, the game.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
And the amount. And let me tell you something, artificial intelligence can't do that. And they haven't been very good at it because you've seen a lot of line moves for no reason. And if artificial intelligence goes one way and the betting goes the other way, it'll even it out. And it's just, there is a gap there that I will exploit, and I'm looking into it seriously. But the first thing I had to overcome is figuring the 30-yard and also the way they go about onside kickoffs.
Yeah, you gotta tell them before you do it.
That, which is
dumbest rule ever.
I don't know why. I mean, if you're going to throw it into the end zone, do you tell them?
Only in the fourth quarter, too.
Yeah, right.
Which is so stupid.
It is really stupid. Okay, let's get on to handicapping and going over last week. Jets, Vikings. Vikings game went over for 2.5, and 41 went from 42 to 41, which meant if you bet it a week before, you could have got under 42. And was a very good game. I was surprised to see Aaron Rodgers throw 3 interceptions. I didn't pick that game because I put London next to it. And I really don't know how to handicap in London and what's the reason every game goes under. I mean, it does, but I don't know why. So, moving forward, Vikes playing good ball everywhere.
And this kind of resulted in Sir Robert Saleh losing his job with the Jets. And Jets fired their head coach today at around noon time.
I think Aaron Rodgers fired.
Well, yes, coach. I agree with that as well.
Aaron Rodgers hired the coordinator.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball, catch the ball.
I mean, listen. At this point, he might as well have part ownership of that team because they do whatever he says to make sure he's not upset.
Whatever he says to make him happy.
Yep.
I think Flacco's doing a better job than Rodgers, to say the truth. Okay.
He certainly did this week. I'll tell you that.
We'll get into what I think about that controversy moving forward. Okay. Panthers, Bears.
Yeah, Bears with a big win here, 36-10.
Okay.
Kind of the first time that Bears offense did what a lot of people expected them to do.
It could be a very good offense.
They got 3 great wide receivers, #1 pick in the draft. You know, people expected a lot, and it finally, I mean, for at least 1 week.
Teams come together as they play.
Yeah, takes a little time.
They work on it. Okay, moving forward. Ravens, Bengals. Why did the Bengals catch a bad break there?
Oh, man. Yeah, 41-38 win for the Ravens. As you mentioned it, the game goes into overtime. Lamar fumbles. The Bengals recover. You think they're going to win, and they missed the field goal.
A chip shot.
I thought it was, high 40s, low 50s. I thought it was.
Was it that much? I thought it was a lot shorter for that kicker.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'd have to, dig into it.
The story today was that Joe Burrows came on and said we're not a championship quality team, which could cause some dissension or bring them together. That they don't like to be criticized from within, especially from the quarterback. Okay, Bills, Texans.
I do like the realistic viewpoint, though.
That was one of my losses. I like the Bills in that game. Like I said, whenever I go with the Texans against the Texans.
23-20 for the Texans in that one. A last-minute 59-yard field goal for the win.
I got to tell you, Allen played his heart out. The whole team played its heart out.
Yeah, no, he's trying to play Superman right now because there's not much else going on for the Bills besides him.
Well, let me tell you, it's enough.
He had a rough day, though. He was like 9 for 30 passing, so.
Well,
still kept him in the game,
3 points.
Yeah, they kept him in the game.
Yes, he did. Okay, Colts, Jaguars.
37-34 win for the Jags. A little push there.
Yeah. Flacco played one of the best games I've ever seen him play.
Ageless wonder, apparently.
Yes. And that game was a push.
Yeah. They were down like 14 points in the fourth quarter. Flacco was out here throwing 2 touchdown passes in like 5 minutes. Heck of a game. It
was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
And the refs let them play.
Yeah, I would say so. The Dolphins and the Patriots. And Dolphins with the 15-10 win here.
Was another game you liked? Moving on.
I'll get into it next week. Some news on the Patriots, but we'll keep. We'll keep it for next week. It makes more sense.
Patriots. Why should you do it next week?
Because it makes more sense for the upcoming week. When we go over this current week, it makes more sense. A little cliffhanger, eh?
All right. I'm not in anticipation.
The Browns and the Commanders.
That's no surprise.
They might be. I said I needed one more week on them, and they won 34-13. So
what's that next to the Commanders?
We got a star there.
What kind of star? Nice star, right?
A blue one too.
Blue one.
My
they
favorite
got a
color.
Blue sauce. Silver one's the best.
favorite color, blue.
Let me tell you something.
Jane Daniels, man, he is playing out of his mind.
Yes. Yeah, the whole team. It's well coached. It's in sync. It's in rhythm. They have confidence, and it's enjoyable to see. I think they're going to be the next dynasty.
Hey, maybe they're the Texans. They went from last place to first place.
I don't know what you got with the Texans. They never cover.
No, I'm just saying in general, not in covering terms. I'm saying Texans 2 years ago, last place. Then they went into first place. Maybe that can be the Commanders this year. Worst to first
for the Texans
on covering. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we're betting on them here. What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right, go ahead.
The Raiders and the Broncos, which was the pick of the week. Broncos with the 34-18 to victory.
Well, I tell you, Anthony and I, because there were so many games and we were 7-2-1, so our field to choose from was much wider. Never mind how it turned out.
Yeah.
But we put a lot of time in that game.
No, that was, I think we have like a 3-hour phone call.
Yeah. Division game. I like the Broncos at home. I like that, second half, it's very tough to breathe up at Mile High.
Mile High.
Yeah, Mile High. And go Broncos. It was a good pick. What was good about it is not everybody was on it.
No.
So I didn't have to worry about the old okie doke on us or fake. Okay. Another game I predicted from the week before.
Yeah. The Cardinals beat the 49ers 24-23.
Outright.
Yeah, outright.
Outright. And that was what? 7.5, 6.5, back to 7.5. Okay. I really believe that the 49ers, when they came to play the Patriots banged them up because the Patriots wanted to win. And the Patriots got banged up too. The 49ers could have won and not covered, but they chose to go, excuse the expression, balls to the wall with an injured team, and they injured more people.
Yeah.
And I believe the reason that they got beat by the Cardinals is they took the Patriots way too seriously, wanted to blow them out, and paid the price. Shanahan is not one of my favorite coaches. He lost 3 Super Bowls he should have won. And, Cardinals is a division game, and the 49ers are not sitting in good shape.
No, they're 2-3.
So, to go with an injured team and not let them heal and give yourself another week and probably still beat the Patriots or bring them in just when you have to, they brought them in to blow them out and left them in the game. And Kelsey came in, Kelsey went out. They lost another defensive player.
Fred Warner.
Yeah. A serious player.
Yeah, I mean, the best linebacker in the league.
And he didn't play in the Cardinal game.
I don't believe so.
No, he did not. And that might have been the difference of them winning a division game, but instead they're putting themselves in trouble. So at least my philosophy stand up, okay?
Yeah, they're 0-2 in the division.
Yeah.
49ers are.
Yeah. And that's going to make a difference because nobody in that division really has great record.
No, I mean, the Seahawks are in first place at 3-2. So.
Yes. So, let's leave it alone. We've covered enough on the Packers and the Patriots. Bad. Packers are
Packers
was minus
3.5,
open minus 3.5, closed 3.5 against the Rams. What was the score there, Anthony?
That would be 24-19.
Who won the game?
That would be the Packers.
What do you see over there?
That's another wonderful blue star.
Yeah, that's another one. And what do you see over there?
That's a red star.
Okay, they got 2 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what was the score?
24-19 for the Pack.
Okay. And what do you see over there?
The under.
What happened?
It did go under, yeah. It definitely
Actually,
did.
Okay. There's another position I didn't find till now. I think the Packers are doing good in their division,
They are currently 3-2.
which is pretty good in their division.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's 5-0. Obviously, the Lions are
Yes.
3-1. They are coming off a bye, so.
Yeah, but they're not going to win their division, but wins are important. But division wins are important too. Okay, that was a good game. Packers playing good ball. Rams are just
They're beat up. They're beat up, man.
they're beat up.
Still no Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
So they're dealing
some
with
very
it.
good players.
I mean, they're number 1 and 2 wide receivers.
Okay, Giants Seahawks, take it away, Ant.
Yeah, 29-20 for the Giants. I mean, they were 6-point underdogs in this game. They ended up winning it outright. That was a surprising one for me, to be honest with you.
Not for me because Giants, Dallas, Texans, I stay away from. Okay, let's go to the next one.
That'll be the Cowboys and the Steelers on Sunday night, which was delayed for 45 minutes because of lightning in the area. But the Cowboys snuck out a 20-17 victory on a last-second touchdown from Dak.
Yeah, that's a star next to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, listen. Every once in a while.
I should stay away from the Cowboys, Texans, and
Sure.
okay, let's
And,
go to
Yeah.
Monday night's game.
Monday night was a 26-13 win for the Chiefs over the Saints.
I guess the two powerhouse teams this year, definitely, and the Chiefs finally covered.
Yeah, finally.
It's about time. The only two powerhouse teams I really see this season are the Vikings and the Chiefs.
I mean, yeah, so far, I mean, they're both undefeated. I mean, I still don't even think the Chiefs are, I think if you ask them to, they're not playing their best football. But, 5-0 is 5-0. Probably them, Vikings. You obviously look at the Ravens. But yeah,
Ravens are putting it together. Why they didn't capitalize on Henry to run behind the quarterback and to do the options and the stuff they did early on. Maybe they needed to. I don't know what. Anyway, it was a successful week. Let's see if we can't do better this week. Okay, let's go, Ant. You want to start it off?
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Of course, I forgot my other copy.
You could share mine.
But 49ers and the Seahawks, they kick off the week. That would be the 49ers being 3.5. Opened as the 49ers 3.5 point favorites, and they still are 3.5 point favorites. Total went from 48 to 47.5.
Okay, I like the Seahawks in that game. I think the 49ers are still banged up. I think the Seahawks are coming off an embarrassing lose to the Giants.
Yeah.
At home. They were not,
at
they
home.
were at home, yes. I think Carl Shanahan's coaching has been overshadowed. His mistakes have been overshadowed by the talent of his team. And I don't believe he has what it takes when you put it all on the line. And he should have had 3 Super Bowl wins.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's definitely had some talented teams with the 49ers. They haven't reached the ultimate goal of winning the Super Bowl, obviously. Yeah, obviously the 49ers probably going to go into this game still banged up, short week, having to play on Thursday. Like you said, Seahawks coming off an embarrassing loss.
I favor the Seahawks, home team underdog.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be my main pick, but I'm leaning and liking the Seahawks.
Next up, we got another London game. Across the pond again. The Jags at the Bears, I guess you can say. Jags opened up as a 1 point favorite. That actually moved to the Bears being 2.5 point favorites, and that total went from 42 to 42.5.
I got to tell you, honestly, in London, 42.5 is a high total here for those two teams.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears finally put the offense together last week, but that was against the Panthers defense. So how much do you take that into account? And I mean, the Jags put up a high scoring game too, but
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say it honestly. I never figured out why they score lower in London, but I do like the under. because I can't seem to score in London. If that game was played here, I would like the under 42.5. And I don't know why it went up a half point. Maybe the world feels that.
Actually, can I give you an update?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 44.5 now.
44.5.
See, real-time info here.
I got to tell you, there's never been an over in a foreign game, right?
I couldn't tell you that 100%.
Well, I'm going by Tanner, and we looked up and most of it to track it down. But I got to tell you, 44.5 with those two teams. I don't know, and the Bears' defense is starting to come around.
Yeah, Bears' defense hasn't played bad, not at all.
And let me tell you, they could shut down the Jaguars because their offensive line isn't.
Well, yeah, the Jags have not been offensive powerhouse, to say the least, until, last week against the Colts. But they own the Colts. They've won 11 years in a row against the Colts at home. So, the curse, as the Colts fans call it.
What does that have to do with them against the Bears?
Because I'm just saying, they only scored a lot of points last week,
Because of the curse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Other than that, the Jags haven't really scored anything crazy.
So basically, the Jags have a voodoo doll of.
I think they do.
I kind of believe that myself.
11 years in a row. That's 11 different teams that they've beaten. That's weird.
Weird. Not even the same team.
No, obviously every
different
year.
Quarterbacks, different offensive line, and that's some good teams.
Different coaches.
Everything.
So
I like the under that. I lean towards it. I would have never raised that to 44.5 myself. If I was booking it, I would have left it at where it is and hope people play a middle. And I would encourage the under on that game. We'll look deeper into it. But the Bears defense is playing as good as a Bears defense could play.
Yeah, they got some pieces over there for sure.
Yeah.
The Commander.
Well, I'm not talking Minnesota and Kansas City level, or San Francisco
or the Broncos,
Pittsburgh or whatever. But
they're
for those
teams
good. Playing,
yeah, they're playing good.
Okay, let's skip it and let's go to Cardinals at Packers.
Yeah,
open 5.5. Went to 5.
Hate that.
Well, I hate that too.
Totals at 49.5.
And I got to tell you the truth. I got skipped next to it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one, to be honest with you.
I don't like 5.5. It's a deadline. Okay, Commanders at Ravens.
This is an interesting one. I find this game very interesting. The Ravens opened as 7-point favorites, went down to 6.5. That total went from 49.5 to 52.5. I mean, it's a lot of points there.
Yeah, but you got to remember that might have been the opening from. You get an opening, could be the opening it had before they played this week.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the lines do come out a week early now.
Yes. So that might have been a move for when nobody bet it or people smart bet it. Yeah. That's what we're going to do with the juice reel. Try to catch middle sides, buy it back if it's not my pick. That's one of the reasons for the juice reel. I mean, could you believe, but without these teams playing, you could bet on them next week. How do you put together a total?
I don't know how you put together anything because what if the quarterback gets hurt? And
not only that, how about how they perform?
Yeah. Well, that's
what about when they lose and need the game the following week? One team wins and doesn't need the game.
And I mean, I would imagine that's why the total went up so much. The Ravens put up 41 points. The Commanders put up 30 plus.
Yes, and they bet a bad line. It's not an accurate line because they didn't have the information. Listen, I love the Commanders in that game getting 6.5 points.
Yeah, I mean, they've played unbelievable so far. And I mean, to be a touchdown underdog.
As the season goes on, I'm seeing Henry, the option, the read option, the bootleg. I mean,
RPOs.
Yeah, they're just starting. First few weeks of the season, they didn't do it. They were just running Henry up the middle. Defense was ready for it. I got to tell you, I take the points in that game, but the Ravens, if the Commanders are going to take a beating, it might be this week.
Only thing that makes me like the Commanders even more, though.
I like the Commanders with the points. I don't know if I like them outright.
That's what I'm saying. Well, because with that, Ravens have blown a lot of fourth quarter leads.
Yes.
A lot of fourth quarter. And I'm talking like 15-point, 10-plus point leads regularly.
Yes.
So, I mean, you're getting 6.5 there.
That's why I like the points.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They may win the game, but by the points, they're slipping. So, how many stars did you see there, man?
Well, I'm looking 3.
Yeah, 3 stars. Okay. 2 more stars could be a general.
Texans and the Patriots. Texans opened up as 6-point favorites. That moved to 7. And then that total went from 40.5 to 37.5 to 38. And then what I was talking about before, what I want to talk about in this game, Patriots benched Jacoby Brissett. Going to go with the rookie, Drake May, making his NFL starting debut. So
I don't know how to read that one. Like I said, I stay away from the Texans.
Fair enough.
Do you have any thoughts on it?
I mean, not betting wise. I mean, obviously, I'm excited to see how Drake May plays. I would stay away from it simply because, maybe he's the greatest quarterback, maybe he's terrible. So it's his first start.
Doesn't have an offensive line.
Exactly. Doesn't have an offensive line.
Doesn't have the experience that
Brissett had.
Yes.
Also doesn't have very good weapons around him in receivers and tight ends and things of that nature. So
usually when that happens, you throw the ball to the Texans.
It might be a rough debut for the kid. The Buccaneers and the Saints. Saints opened up as 2.5-point favorites. Now the Bucs are 2.5-point favorites. Over under from 44.5 to 45.5.
I like the Bucs in that game. Getting the 2.5 points. But Tampa's one of the divisions that's heating up.
Tampa's, like I said, live update again.
What happened?
Bucs are 3.5 now.
3.5. It's a field goal and a hook. That hook scares me.
It's always the hook.
Saints plus 3.5. They started out of the gate really well.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to them in that Philadelphia game, I have no clue. But they never seem to be able to recover.
No, they have not yet. I'll tell you that. Especially Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. I mean, he's a lot better than most of the other quarterbacks in the league.
He was the first 2 weeks. Since then, it's been a little rough for him.
Yeah.
But
all right. Let's move on. I don't think anybody's really. That's 2.5 Saints to 3.5 Buccaneers. That's a 6-point move. Now, if we could have anticipated that when they came out before this week, I would play both sides of that. Okay, go ahead. You can actually hell of a middle there.
That would be the Browns and the Eagles going forward. Eagles opened up as 6-point favorites. That's all the way up to 8.5. And the total went from 43.5 to 43.
I never lay that many points. And I think the Browns need a lot more than that to cover.
It's been bad. It has been bad.
Eagles need to win.
Coming off a bye, too.
They're rested. They got it together, but I don't know what they got together. I kind of like the under in that game.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Browns offense has a hard time scoring. You just got to make sure the Eagles don't go crazy. But, yeah.
Well, if they do, they better go crazy for like 39 points.
Yeah, I know. They might. Browns are going to need all the help in the world to score.
Joe Mixon just...
I don't know what happened. He was like, I mean, I guess I do know what happened with all his lawsuit cases. But he was a top 5 quarterback on the Texans. He has not recaptured that magic in Cleveland at all.
Double ear infection. Go ahead. It's killing me. Go ahead.
The Colts and the Titans. Colts opened up as 1.5-point favorites. They're now a 1-point favorite. Total went from 41 to 42.5.
I'm going to wait till game time. That could be one of our picks. If Flacco's playing, I really like the Colts.
Yeah, if I knew Flacco was playing, I'd bet that immediately. But you never know with Anthony Richardson and there's injury statuses and things of that nature. So,
okay, let's go to Chargers Broncos.
Yeah, that would be the Chargers opening up as 1.5-point favorites.
2.5.
Now it's up to 3.
It's up to 3. Home team underdog.
Yeah, I mean, Broncos have a top 3 defense statistically speaking.
Yes.
So, I mean, they got some great corners.
I don't know if I would bet the same team 2 weeks in a row. I like the game. For those that don't analyze offensive, defensive line, it's pretty easy to figure it out because you'll see the defense push the offense back into the thing. That's the defense if they're winning the game. The offense is winning the game. Their job is to push the defense down the field and have fight in there. So then you can evaluate who goes against who and why. That's what I always look for first, and then I break it down even more when I watch the films. I saw the Broncos' offensive line and defensive line play pretty good.
Yeah, they were bullying the Raiders. They were bullying them.
Yeah. And not that the Raiders had a lot with it, but it is a division game. They have been a long-time rival.
Yeah, the Raiders had won 8 straight against the Broncos going into that game, too.
Yeah, and, I went against and broke that streak. I like the Broncos in that game. I think the Chargers are a good team. Broncos are home getting points. They're up to 3. I like the Broncos. Okay, what's the next one? Steelers-Raiders.
Steelers-Raiders, the old-time rivalry. Let's see. That started out Steelers 2.5. Now they are 3-point favorites. Total 38.5 down to 36.5.
I got question marks all over that because it's a home team underdog. It's a rivalry. Raiders are coming off a big loss.
I don't even know who their quarterback's going to be either because they benched Gardner Minshew in like the third quarter. Aiden O'Connell came in, who was a rookie last year, played a lot of games for them.
Are they still promising Russell Wilson to play?
You know what? There are some talk. I don't know if it's Russell. Well, it's weird though because I could have swore that Russell Wilson was active. But Justin Fields on Sunday night had to go out for a play because the neuro doctor said that he looked concussed or whatever, and they brought in somebody else for
Instead of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, for the one play. So I'm a little confused on his whole situation.
I don't think Justin Fields is doing a bad job.
No, I mean, listen, they're 3-2. I mean, they've lost 2 games in a row, but it's by a combined 6 points, I believe. So it's not like they're getting blown out.
Yeah.
Not too many weapons over there in Pittsburgh either. So, I mean,
I was always curious to see how Russell Wilson would have done there.
I think this is the game. If they lose this game, Russell Wilson will be the quarterback if he's healthy, I guess, because I'm apparently confused.
Well, I try not to bet against the same team 2 weeks in a row, but I do favor the Steelers. I don't usually go against home team underdog, but I think the Steelers are doing a good job.
I mean, yeah, their defense is still unbelievable.
And the fact that they've lost to better teams by a total between the two of 6 points. And I got to tell you, I give offense, defense, and special teams to the Steelers.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, defense definitely 100%.
Yeah, that's
to me, I guess it depends on who's healthy on the Raiders. Devontae Adams.
We're going to wait for the report, but if it's the same report that was last week, I give all 3 to the Steelers.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And the only thing the Raiders got going for them is their home team underdog. And I don't think that's going to fill the slots. Okay, moving forward.
Yeah, let's go on to sheet number 2. That would be the Falcons at the Panthers. Falcons opened up as 3-point favorites. That's all the way up to 6. That total went from 43.5 all the way up to 47.5.
Panthers have shown some daylight. Falcons have been consistent.
Panthers got ran off the field last week against the Bears, obviously. But
yes.
Before that, had 2 games in a row pretty well with Andy Dalton.
And the Falcons are up there in the division, right?
I do believe they are the current division leaders at 3-2.
That's one of those lines that moved again because it came out before they played.
Yeah.
2 weeks in advance. On to the next.
That would be a game that I'm very excited to watch in the Lions at the Cowboys. Lions opened up 3-point favorites. That's up to 3.5. That total, big one, 51 to 52.5.
What do you see there?
That's an arrow down, which means he likes the under, Peter.
I like the under.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's all.
I never bet with. I never bet against the Cowboys. They may even figure out a way to bother me with the totals, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, 52 is a lot, especially for a Cowboys offense that has not been too special so far. Sunday night football, excuse me. That would be the Bengals. They opened up as a 5-point favorite, which I know we hate, down to 3.5. And then that total went from 46.5 up to 49.
And they're saying it's going to be a close game by the Bengals being 3, but it's a high total. So they're anticipating scoring. I have to tell you, I don't like to bet with or against the Giants, but I think the Bengals are a better organization.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have the better players, I'll tell you that.
The only thing I don't like is Joe Burrow's get on TV and says we're not a champion caliber team. And it's never good for a quarterback to say that. It could cause a split, you know. It's one thing to get on there and say, you know, I could be playing better. I'm not leading this team as good as I could.
Fair enough.
You know, they're athletes. They play with emotion. You never know what's said in the locker room that could upset the whole game. It's an emotional game. I still have 3 stars next to the Bengals. I hate to whatever. I don't believe that'll ever be my main pick against those teams. But on to the next.
Well, the next would be the final. It's Monday night. Bills at the Jets. Obviously, the big news there was that Robert Saleh got fired, so new head coach for the Jets from going into Monday night. But the Bills opened up as 1.5-point favorites. They're now 2.5-point favorites, and I guess we're going to find out what the new look Jets are going to be.
Well, if they don't win Monday night, Aaron Rodgers might have to fire himself.
I mean, yeah, he's making all the decisions anyway.
He's making all the decisions. Usually when a head coach, you really don't want to lose a head coach in the 6th game of the season. I don't think he did a bad job. I don't think he did a job as good as he could, but there can't be two head coaches on a team.
No.
That's like 2 roosters in a hen house. Too many
chefs in the kitchen.
Spoil the broth, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're on the same thing. Maybe if the whole team hated him.
I mean, well, I will say on that. So there's a meme of a guy wearing like a jacket, and he went to somebody's funeral, and he said, "This is me at my biggest hater's funeral, just to make sure he's dead." And that's what one of the Jets offensive linemen posted after.
He hated him that much?
Apparently, that's what one of the Jets unless I got faked out on Twitter, that's what one of the offensive linemen posted after the news came out that the Jets head coach got fired.
That's not very professional.
So he might have lost the locker room there. Might not have been a big fan of Robert Saleh in the Jets locker room, I guess.
I didn't think he was a bad coach. I mean, it's really tough when you coach a team that you bring in a quarterback that runs the team.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, they can't do anything that he doesn't want.
Right.
I mean, the offensive coordinator's there because of him. There's wide receivers on the team there because of him.
And very few, I think, what was his name? Became a pretty good coach. Very few quarterbacks went on to become head coaches. And
different job.
Completely different job, completely different dynamic. I got to tell you, I love the Bills. Maybe it could ignite the Jets. The Jets have a ferocious defense.
The only thing historically with that, too,
I know,
is Josh Allen's terrible against the Jets.
Terrible. Did we mention terrible?
Terrible, yeah, not good.
Yeah. And I'm a big, I think Josh Allen is still one of the, you said their window was closed. I don't believe that at all whatsoever. This is a year there are not many dominant teams.
No, that's true.
And on any given Sunday, he goes in the number 1 seed and home field advantage the Bills. Depending on who beats who, you could get a couple of flukes in there, and
this is everything. Anything's possible.
Anything could happen. I think the Bills are very much still alive, and I think the Jets are fighting to breathe. They're doing it without a head coach. They're doing it with a 40-year-old quarterback. The Bills are terrible against them. I don't like to say home team underdog, but I am curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what happens with the coaching staff and everything of that nature now that, Sal's gone.
Okay, this week you got to buy Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, Vikes.
I think that was just a note for ourselves on the bottom there.
Yeah, but it's a bye week next week. No,
I'm just saying this one. Yeah, no. The bye week's
a note for us.
Yeah.
That one, it's a bye week.
Bye weeks are important.
What?
I said the bye weeks are very important.
You can either lose your rhythm or
Or you need
get
it.
healthy.
Yeah. Or you need it.
Or you need it. Reviews, comments. They're very good this week, and I thank them. Thank you very much. We're pretty good. Thank you. The ones before, when we lost 2 in a row, weren't so good. But hey, you lose 2 in a row, you deserve it.
A lot of supporters out there.
Yeah, the cursing I don't like, though. Jimmy's back. That motivates me to win.
Hey, he was back and we won. Maybe we need him.
Yeah, it's the same thing he did last year, and I didn't look back. Exact same thing.
Jimmy, you're appreciated.
You're appreciated for being such an ignorant person. Such terrible class. No class. All right. Anthony Conover, Chris Colombo taking action. Sign up for the juice reel. Trust me. I got this down. I would like to be ahead of the curve on the bets. Worst comes to worst, buy them back, try to hit a middle. I mean, you're talking about 5-6 point middles in and around the 3 area. They all are. That's going to become preeminent. And not only that, on the games I like, plus like them and get a 2 or 3 point edge, never mind a 5. So what I'd like to do is play the middle on both sides. And if it's my pick, play it and get that edge. And that's the reason why. Keep your notifications on.
Absolutely.
And remember, the reason I bet 1 pick a week is if I have a bad week or 2, it's not we're down 12 positions or 8 positions, and then you got to really struggle to come back and then find things to bet to get back to even. And there's a lot of things I could do, even if we fell 1 or 2 behind with money lines and or raising the amount of money on a certain pick. Like the Denver team, I never even watched that game. I went to sleep, woke up, cashed it. There's a lot of them I do during the season.
I was a big fan of that game.
Anything you need to say and I want to say?
Shout out my dad who watches all the episodes.
What's your dad's name?
Tim.
Here's to Tim. He watches all the episodes. Is it because he's keeping an eye on you or is he a fan of the show?
I think it's both. I think it's both.
Listen, if the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and I met Nan, it's a magnificent family. I'm proud to have him here. Her cooking is remarkable. Anthony's ethics and intelligence are way above the curve. We're happy to have him in the funding business. I'm happy to have him as my son's friend, and I'm happy to have him here. So, Tim, you did a good job. As far as I handicap you, 4 stars for being a father. And 5 stars for your son. Nan gets 12 stars.
Nan gets all the stars. There's a reason I look like this.
All right. This was a fun episode. I really liked the ending of it. Let's see how we do. Make sure you put your notifications on. If you're going to bet, come into Juice Reel. And, most importantly, I have not found anybody suitable to assist me in basketball handicapping. I believe hockey. And I have Anthony in baseball, which will provide everything I need. So we will go most of the year.
Yeah. I fell out of love with basketball, so I wish I could help. But
whether you love it or you don't, it's a whole different breed.
Yeah. And
6-man off the bench is important. There's a lot of dynamics to basketball. They play a lot of games. They travel a lot. And the matchups are interesting. Yeah. And then basketball, too, is a lot of luck with the 3-pointers, the fouls, the totals, the quarters. There's a lot more to it. I'm very good at it, but I need somebody up to date with today's game. Okay. Anthony Conover, Chris Colombo saying goodbye to Tim and Nan. He'll see you soon for dinner. Good night. Thank you.